Same crying for justice. You know, the life lost, person killed in front of his family, wife and children. It's very sad. You know, he was a madrasa teacher, this guy. Very obedient. And then they said he was killed approximately 23 kilometers inside the park. There is a conflict of boundary. He's not killed inside the park. So, Chair, we want a satisfactory answers for the family and the people of Garsen so that those officers responsible can take into the court. Thank
you. Thank you very much, Chairman. Waziri, I've listened to you and also I've read through the statement. I think that is why they say sometimes a local action can have a strategic effect, because when we are told that 23 KWS Rangers were going to arrest an armed civilian, and in the process he was fatally shot, I think the sums are not really adding up. And I think this is a clear case of travesty of justice, that the minister is wanting to do a good job or at his headquarters, but somebody at the ground is really trying to make sure that the laws of the land do not add up in the end. So for that reason, the only good thing they did from the beginning is to follow the law, that all those 23 guns were actually confiscated and they were taken for ballistic. That is the law. But I think even among those 23 rangers, there must have been a commander. They must have identified who shot this fellow. If there was even confusion, then it could be between one or two rangers. So for that reason, listening to Honorable Ali there and also your response, I think as a committee, what we really want to ask of you is the DCI must, within the shortest time possible, give us a clear indication of people who must come before the law. Because if up to now nobody is before the court, it simply means this is an incident that will slowly die, will lose trace, and at some point now even files will disappear. So for that reason, I think the honorable member is very clear, and also you are very clear in your response. Please give us a timeline so that people must do their work. Thank you, Honorable Chairman.
Chairman, I also wanted to echo the same, that what is clear in this matter is that the KWS Rangers had a singular purpose in this case, to go and kill the person they intended to arrest. Because as the Vice Chair says, you know, 23 guns, and somebody shot in his own compound. The matter has taken 4 months. It appears it is a strategy, more or less, so that, you know, the matter cools, the public forgets, and then justice is lost. So, Chair, it is important that the Minister pushes the DCI, because there is no reason whatsoever why the DCI gotten for the bereaved family. It is important, Chair, that it is expedited. Otherwise, let it not be a strategy, because this is a very poor person, so that the family loses. Thank you.
Bwana says, because I don't think there is no much really extremely very worrying. 4 months down the line, in fact, from your own report, it's a clear admission by the KWS that, of course, they did shoot. The only question was, which gun discharged the bullet? And Bwana says, you're aware, it is under your docket. We have been allocating a lot of resources to the DCI, to including the forensic lab, so that the issue of forensic and ballistic becomes speedy. So the easy conclusion here, it's not rocket science. Somebody somewhere must be trying to cover up. That is the only conclusion and reason you can give. So I want to direct us this so that we don't belabor on this. Kindly, Bwana CS, it was not just for formalities and that we call you and this statement was sought. Maybe you can tell us maybe how much time you need so that you up and give us a follow-up question, a satisfactory question that is convincing that justice is being done to this poor Kenyan. Kindly.
Mr. Chair, unlike many other cases, first of all, let me say that we need to appreciate that this was done expeditiously. For a file to leave DCI to DPP is not, it can show the goodwill in the first place, that the question of cover-up is not there. The desire for the DCI to make sure that someone is prosecuted was there. It's just that the DPP wants certain loose ends be tied together. And so the intention to prosecute this person is there. And I don't think there is room for cover-up, because what's all remaining is the ballistic report.
It's very crucial.
Which is very crucial, and it's not going anywhere because you can't hide anymore. There's nothing to hide. You have the spent cartridges, you have the process being undertaken by DCI. I also want to confirm that I visited DCI when I became CS in this ministry, like 2 months ago. Yes, February. Mr. Chair, you need to really still support the lab. The lab requires a lot of resources, not just the fiscal resources we are giving, not just the money to buy a lot of the laboratory equipment, but you also need retention of human resource so that they can be able to retain human resource at a certain level. You also know that we have so many cases involving guns across the country. So there's a long line of ballistic analysis on different crimes, banditry, robberies, and so forth across the country. And so this is part of it, of the process. So, and sometimes each one of them is urgent. All of them are urgent. The magistrate is demanding the report to be presented in this. The DPP is demanding a report. So I can give assurance to the public that in the fullness of time, this person will be charged. There is no escape route. Somebody somewhere will be charged. The same way I gave the same undertaking on the case of Nakuru, which was also involving KWS. Maybe at some point, we need to perhaps have a meeting with the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, and particularly DG KWS, on disciplinary cases involving a number of the officers in KWS, not just in that area, but across, and how best that can be handled. You know, for the police, we have the internal mechanism within the police, and we have IPOA. So how do we handle the KWS? Do they have a mechanism internally to be able to deal with these officers? Do they even have processes of suspending these people until their case is concluded? So even if they have not been charged, they should be able to take internal disciplinary measures until you can prove that the specific officer was involved. Like every other Kenyan, it concerns me that 23 people went to arrest one person. There is no evidence that that person was armed with a gun, and that eventually, you know, you had to use a gun for 23 people against one person. I think it's an armed individual. So in the presence of his family, I think it is a matter of justice, and we must be able to follow this issue to the ultimate conclusion. So, Mr. Chair, maybe in our next session, you can prompt me, even if it is on different issues. We can be, by that time, we should see how far we have gone. I do not also wish to because the police and the DCI operates independently and I cannot direct them, I do not also wish to give an undertaking that in 1 month it will be done. But using our good officers, we must be able to facilitate and push them to do so. But what we will not allow is a situation where there will be cover-up in the end.
So do we say, fair to say, in good time?
Why don't we revisit this issue again in another 3 months and say in 3 months we can give an update as to how far we've gone, and maybe at that point in time we can come with the DCI himself so that he can also express some of the challenges he's facing. But hopefully in those 3 months, both the case of Nakuru and the one for Tana River will have gone to court, because you can see also DPP was dissatisfied on certain issues. At some point, it will leave the DCI, it will go to the DPP and to make a judgment on the prosecution.
Anyway, while on that, so that I give Wario or Liz, you raise a very, very pertinent question on definitely the role of the IPOA versus the issue of gun rangers and other gun holders. Of course, their mandate is very limited to the police. And I think it's a conversation. I remember there is a bill being proposed by, I think, Senator for Bomet or something like that. Try to expound the mandate of the IPOA to include the game rangers. Because even these rangers in the game reserves by the counties, I remember the CS, our very good CS here, we went to Narok to launch these rangers to be NPR. And they have got very sophisticated guns. And at times, the regulations on how these guns are controlled is not very good by CS. And it's good to admit that. You can even able to do an investigation. They don't report to our police command. And at times, these gun holders, including the game rangers, they become a militia of governors. In fact, in my own county, it is almost akin to that. It's an issue that we may bring to attention very soon. They don't report to any command of the police. They just become a militia of a governor. Of course, I'm also interested to be one, but I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. So I think because it's not a subject of the day, it's an issue that we are considering as a committee, really to have an engagement with the ministry on how we are going to farm up the loose end on the issue of these guns. So let's get really just a minute and Wario, so that we close this and go to the next. Yes.
And I really want to thank him because the other day he was in Nakuru, he was able to speak to the parents. But I'm happy that, again, he has repeated that he is going to bring all these reports in 3 months. But CS, it is so scaring to discover that the people who are supposed to protect the lives of the people are the ones killing these innocent people. And what I want to ask today as a member of this committee, as a leader from Nakuru, if someone is found to be having maybe he has done some mistake, I don't think it is right for the security people to kill instead of arresting and taking them to court instead of killing. It's a concern and it's really bringing a lot of problems everywhere. As parents, we cannot allow this. As leaders, we cannot allow this. But I want to thank you because you've committed yourself that in 3 months you'll bring a report that will speak on Honorable Warriors and the Nakuru matter that concerns the KWS and Kenya Forest Service, where 2 people lost their lives and parents are still waiting for the reports. Thank you.
You want to talk about it?
Yes, on the same.
The killing. Then we give
Thank you, Chair. For the purposes of record, my name is Professor Akuja, Member of Parliament for the constituency. Chair, I think KWS has been spot on killing innocent people. A case in point is where KWS sprayed bullets using an helicopter in Turkana, Lake Turkana. Members of Parliament for those particular constituencies, especially Turkana North and Turkana Central, raised us even in this committee And efforts to reach even the DG for KWS has been futile. And that case came way back, like somewhere in February. And that case, nobody has followed. So KWS has gone even beyond using helicopters to spray innocent people and kill them, and are not taking anywhere. So CS, you need to comment on that, because that has been raised several times and nobody is giving an ear. Thank you.
So before I carry on, I want you to know on the issue of the electoral, actually it came to the House separately. And even the speaker suggested that we had a joint meeting between the interior and the DG KWS. But the DG KWS, I'm sorry to say, it became dodgy. Dodgy. And so kindly, this is your docket. I think I follow up on your suggestion of my colleague. Maybe you look away from being a joint so that we see the intervention on the killing of Kenyans in electoral by the KWS. So maybe let Kai, then Wario, you will wrap up and close this.
Thank you, Chair. For the CS, we see it in the corporate, we see it in the developing societies. Because when you ask about how long will it take to finish a forensic test, we're talking of 3 months. Is it possible within your plan as part of good practice to ensure that there is a documented process flow, so that where you sit or where the PS sits, if in the event there's an issue, a similar issue coming up, we can say within 14 days, if a gun or the remains are provided, we are able, you can say it on top of your, that look, within 14 days we'll have this sort of a process flow. Because if you talk to your counterparts in developed societies, they will actually tell you we can get it even within 72 hours. You've mentioned the issue of laboratories. With our friendly devolved partners, because when you talk about budget, we're struggling as a country in terms of funding, but I've made efforts to speak to our traditional friends. An example, to even plant here a laboratory, which in the process they'll also give you trainers, and they'll also ensure that there's that continuous improvement in terms of technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate also the CS for trying to give justice to the family. Also, Chairman, the CS said the NPS or the DCI, they're independent. So I am kindly requesting the committee also separately to invite the DCI to come and explain, because this matter is very weighty. The CS said he has answered in the Senate. No action has been taken, and now before the National Assembly. I am kindly requesting, because this matter has really brought stress even to the community. Your able PS was there with the president, I think in June. The same place, Kone. In fact, President felt for them, he gave them sub-county. You know, those people live far away from Garsen. Around 167 kilometers from Garsen. There is no police presence. Last parliament, we built a police, a very big one. It still is a police post. When the matter comes, they report to Garsen. So I think CS also, you promised to come and open the Tarasa sub-county. I think you should do it as soon as possible for those people to get justice and government service closer to them. So I'm kindly requesting the committee, if possible. I'm not doubting the response by the CS, but 3 months is long, Chair. He said in 3 months. 3 months is very long.
So, I think the CS was clear on that point, that of course having the file already with the DPP, we give him some... Of course, Chair,
I'm requesting,
okay, I'm suggesting,
for the time...
We are concerned as you are. we know an innocent Kenyan has lost life unnecessarily. So because the CS is in charge and of course responsible with the policy and directive, normally we have a very close interaction and engagement. Maybe once we come back from the recess, we are able to give an update. If necessary, we may call again the CS with the DCI to come.
Most obliged, Chair.
Just quickly, Chair, so that we finish on this issue. First, let me let me appreciate that there are policy issues that are coming from this question, which are beyond the death of Mr. Jarso and also Brian Odhiambo in Nakuru and other places. The question of how do you hold accountable KWS rangers across the country?
Even county rangers.
Yes, I will come to the county one, but for KWS and KFS,